Today, we are going to be diving into how do you budget when your paycheck is never the same twice. Maybe you're a freelancer juggling multiple clients. Maybe you're in sales and your commission changes every month. Or maybe you're balancing a day job with unpredictable side hustle. One month you're balling out, and the next month you're living off of instant ramen. And you're wondering what the hell happened. Now, trust me, I've actually been there. When I was working in sales, my bank account looked like a roller coaster, but not the fun kind. But over time, I developed a system that actually worked. And that's exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. So if you're tired of financial stress and you want to build stability with an unstable income, stick around. This might be the most important money video that you'll watch this year. So let's get right into it. So the first and the most crucial part of this whole system is getting your mindset right. Most of y'all with irregular income make this one critical mistake. You plan your lives around your best months. So you have an amazing month where you make $7,000 and suddenly you're signing up for new subscriptions, you're upgrading your apartment, or you're buying that thing that you've been eyeing for a while. But here's the brutal truth, okay? Your financial stability is built on your worst months, not the best ones. So here's rule number one. Budget based on your lowest consistent income. Notice I said consistent. I don't mean that one terrible month where everything just went to shit, right? I mean the lowest amount that you typically bring during a normal month. This might feel a little restrictive at first, but the beauty of this approach is that you create a stable financial foundation that doesn't crumble when you have a slow month. Think of it like building a house. Your baseline budget is your foundation. It needs to be solid before you start adding all the fancy features. Once the foundation is secure, you can decide what to do with the extra. Save, invest, or even treat yourself. The benefit of this? No more living large one month and then stressing about rent the next month. That peace of mind alone is worth it. Now let's get into the nitty gritty. Building your baseline budget. Now this is different from our regular budget because we are focusing on survival mode, not ideal mode. Your baseline budget answers one simple question. What is the bare minimum that you need to stay alive and keep your life running? Now let's break it down into different categories. First, you have housing. So rent, mortgage, basic utilities, stuff like that. For utilities, use your average highest bill as a buffer. Next, you got food. So obviously basic groceries to cook at home, not takeout, not fancy ingredients, just essentials to eat healthy, filling meals. For most people, this is going to be about $200 to $300 a month if you're cooking simple meals. Number three, you have transportation. So your car payment, insurance, gas, public transit passes, stuff like that. Number four, you have insurance, health, dental, vision, renter's insurance, whatever coverage that you absolutely need. Number five, you have minimum debt payments. So student loans, credit cards, any personal loans. These are the minimum payments required to keep you from defaulting. And number six, you have your phone. So your basic phone plan. Again, not the premium package, just what you need to stay connected. And number seven, you have essential personal care. So basic toiletries, medications, etc. Add these up and you have your survival number, your financial bedrock. For many people in their 20s and 30s, this number is probably going to be around $1,800 to $2,500, depending on where you live. Now here's where it gets real interesting. Everything else, and I mean everything else, is considered optional. I'm talking about the Hulu, Netflix, Spotify, premium gym memberships, dining out, coffee shops, shopping for non-essential items, travel, entertainment. I'm not saying cut all of these out completely, but what I am saying is recognize them for what they are, which is flexible expenses that can scale up or down depending on how good your month is. Now, when you do this exercise, make sure you do it with brutal honesty. Many people underestimate their actual spending, which sets them up for failure. Review the last 3 months of your bank statement and see what you're really spending on in each category. The goal here is simple. Even in your worst income month, you should be able to cover your baseline without stress, credit card debt, or calling your mommy and daddy to give you money. Now for the game changer that absolutely transformed my financial life, which is what I call sinking funds. Now, if you're not familiar with the term, sinking funds are dedicated saving pots for specific expenses that you know are coming, but not every month. They're like your financial crystal ball, planning for the future instead of being surprised by it. Here's why they're especially crucial for irregular income. When you have a good month, instead of blowing the extra cash, you are strategically allocating it to future needs. This creates stability even when your income isn't stable. So let's walk through how to set this stuff up. First, identify your irregular but predictable expenses. So these will typically include car maintenance and repair, medical expenses, technology replacement, gifts, and annual or semi-annual bills, professional development, so like courses, conferences, certifications that can help you earn more. Now for each category, figure out how much you spend annually. Then divide it by 12 to get a monthly target. So for example, car maintenance costs about $1,200 a year, which is about $100 a month. Gifts, maybe $1,000 a year. That's about $83 a month. Now for the practical part, which is how to actually organize these funds. Now you've got options. You can open multiple savings accounts. You can use budgeting apps like YNAB. And lastly, you can use the regular old spreadsheet method. And during your high income months, you'll allocate more to these funds. During low months, you might pause contributions, but you'll have the peace of mind knowing that you've already saved for these expenses. You'll be well prepared. Pay yourself first is classic financial advice. But with irregular income, we need to put a spin on it, okay? Traditionally, paying yourself first means saving a fixed amount before paying bills, like $200 a month to your savings, no matter what. But when your income is changing month to month, a fixed amount doesn't always work. So here's the twist. Save a percentage of your income, not a fixed dollar amount. So let me walk you through how it actually works. Set your base savings percentage. For most people, start with 10 to 20% of your income. So if a client pays you $500, immediately move $50 to $100 to your savings before you pay any of your bills. You can also scale up in good months. So when you have an unusually good month, increase the percentage. Maybe in months where you make over $3,000, you bump your savings rate to 25 to 30%. Likewise, you can scale down in tight months, but don't eliminate. In your lowest income months, you might reduce it to 5%, but do not skip saving altogether. Even $20 will maintain the habit. Now, this approach accomplishes two things. It keeps your savings proportional to your actual income, and it builds the savings habit regardless of income fluctuation. Now, where should all this money go? So personally, I would suggest a tiered approach. So tier one, you have your income fluctuation fund, which we're going to discuss in a few minutes. Until you have 1 to 3 months of expenses in your savings, focus most of your pay yourself first money here. Tier two, you have your emergency fund. Once your income fluctuation fund is solid, build a true emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of your expenses for major life emergencies, because emergencies are inevitable. And tier three, you have your long-term goals. So after your short and medium-term security is established, start directing this money towards your retirement accounts, investing, or saving for major goals, like a home down payment. Automating this process will help you immensely. Most payment platforms and bank accounts will allow you to automatically transfer a percentage of deposits to a savings account. You set it up once and you let the system do the work for you. The key insight here is that by saving a percentage rather than a fixed amount, your savings plan just naturally adjusts to your income. It's flexible yet consistent. Now let's talk about creating your financial shock absorber, which is the income fluctuation fund. Now this is not the same as an emergency fund. An emergency fund is for true emergencies, like job loss or some sort of major medical crisis or any sort of major unexpected expense, right? Your income fluctuation fund has one specific purpose, and that is smoothing out the gaps between paychecks or between slow seasons. Just think of it as your personal unemployment insurance for the weeks or the months when work is slow. So how big should this fund be? Start with a target of 1 month's worth of your baseline expenses. Eventually, build it up to 3 months. So for example, if your baseline monthly expenses are $2,000, your initial goal should be $2,000 in your income fluctuation fund. And your eventual goal should be $6,000, right? Because 2 times 3 is 6, right? As far as where you should keep your money, it should be easily accessible, separate from your checking account so you don't spend it, and earning at least some interest. So basically all that to say, just put it in a high yield savings account. Now, a lot of people will ask, shouldn't I pay off debt instead of building this income fluctuation fund? Now, while your debt is important, without this buffer, you're probably going to end up creating more debt during your income dips. So I recommend building a small income fluctuation, even if it's just $1,000, before aggressively tackling your debt beyond the minimum payments. I cannot overstate how life-changing it is to have this fund. It literally transforms your irregular income from a source of stress to an actual workable situation. And so when a client pays late or a project gets postponed, instead of panicking, you simply dip into your income fluctuation fund and then you replenish it when the payments come through. Now we're reaching the financial ninja level, which is living on last month's income. This is the ultimate goal for managing irregular income, and it's a complete game changer. It's a very simple concept, but it's powerful. Instead of spending the money that you earned this month, you use it to fund next month's expenses. You're essentially creating a 1 month buffer between earning and spending. So here's how it works in practice. So first, all the income in January will get saved, right? On February 1st, you know exactly how much you earned in January. That amount becomes your February budget. Meanwhile, all the money earned in February gets saved for March, and so on and so on. Now, getting to this point takes a good amount of time and discipline. You essentially need to have 1 full month of expenses beyond your income fluctuation fund to make the initial transition. But here's a step-by-step plan to implement this system. Step 1, continue building your income fluctuation fund until you have 1 to 2 months of expenses. The second step is to start a separate next month fund during your good income months. The third step, once your next month fund is full, make the switch. At the beginning of the next month, transfer the full amount to your checking account. This is how you budget for the entire month. Step 4, from this point forward, all income received will go into the next month fund for the following month. Now, what happens if you have a really bad month and you don't earn enough for the next month? That's where your income fluctuation fund comes in as a backup. Now, you might need to temporarily revert to living on current income, but you can rebuild and get back to this system. Living on last month's income requires discipline and a buffer to get started. But once you're there, oh boy, budgeting with irregular income becomes dramatically easier. It's like giving yourself a regular paycheck, even when your actual income is just all over the place. Now let's talk about the psychological aspect of maintaining irregular income, because this might actually be the most important part. Irregular income creates unique mental challenges. The temptation to spend heavily during the good months, anxiety and scarcity during the slow months, difficulty planning for the future when the present is uncertain. But here are some mindset shifts and habits that will help you master your finances. Number 1, redefine extra money. When you have a good month, don't think of the surplus as extra money to spend, okay? Instead, think of it as future stability money. This simple reframe will help you allocate windfalls more strategically. Number 2, create money rules before you need them. Decide in advance how you're going to handle financial windfalls. Having rules in place removes the emotional decision making when the money arrives. Number 3, track your income trends. Most freelancers and gig workers will have seasonal patterns. Maybe Q4 is always busy with holiday projects, while the summer is slower. By tracking these patterns over time, you can anticipate and plan for predictable fluctuations. Number 4, celebrate the small wins. When you successfully navigate a low income month without debt or stress, that's a W. When your income fluctuation funds reaches its target, that's also a W. Acknowledge these achievements just to try and stay motivated. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate all financial stress. It's to build a system that gives you confidence despite the unpredictability of your income. All right, now let's bring this all together. Budgeting with irregular income isn't about restricting yourself or living in anxiety. It's about creating stability and freedom in an inherently unstable situation. This approach doesn't fight against the reality of regular income. It works with it. You are harnessing the upside of the good months while protecting yourself from the downside of the slow months. I have been using this system for years now, and the difference is night and day. Instead of dreading checking my bank balance, I have confidence in my financial situation, regardless of what any particular month brings. And here's what I want to leave you with. Financial stability is not about how much you make. It's about the system that you build around what you make. There's people out there earning six figures and still living paycheck to paycheck, which, God, I don't understand, but it exists. While there are others that create security on much more modest and variable incomes. And that's it, guys. If you got any sort of value from this video, drop a lifeboat emoji in the comments because we're building financial lifeboats out here. And if you want more practical money advice for the real world, hit that like and subscribe button so I can keep producing more content for you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.